go. We are live. Uh, good afternoon, or well, it is. Well, it's not quite afternoon. Good, my day. I hope your day is going well. You are being BCC'd to protect your privacy and also to protect my privacy because today is actually an invitation uh, to a Final Friday Celebrate Business open house. And I would, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. If you haven't met me yet through one of the emails, videos, whatever that I have done, uh, my Google name is David F. Small Biz David Leopold. That is one really great thing Google has done for me, and I really had to work pretty hard to make that happen. But whatever. Each of you represent my Celebrate Business 100 in the 309 four-county zip codes. The counties are Hamilton, Warren, Claremont, and Brown. Uh, and I will tell you where we're going with this in a moment. Well, I'll tell you right now where we're going with this. I About 3 years ago, a close friend of mine, after hearing many of my stories for uh, 13 years, actually said to me, David, you need to put them all in one place or create a collection or whatever that might be. So I that night I went home and I bought my legacy story dot site. Uh, Janet didn't know it yet, but I did not need to publish a real book because I did that. I did that 14 years ago, I think. 15 years. This is the 15th anniversary since that. And not only did I write the book and edit the book, I published the book. Uh, Found a printer friend and created a really nice book. And uh, I knew that this time around it had to be something digital because that's where we live. We live in a digital world. So I started writing the book. I call it a here's actually the cover of the book. It's a living ebook, My Legacy Story, a 73 entrepreneurial journey as a publisher, producer, providing marketing and sales strategies. And I found some software to do some writing. Of course, I know how to do videos. So my legacy story is a combination of all of those things. And so we've been developing chapters. We have created some very interesting products, concepts, and uh, made a lot of friends and conversations that we have had with folks, and are starting to build a community. And I didn't know until about I think it's just been about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, in a meeting with my friend Tom Deere at the Chamber, Cincinnati Regional Chamber. I just said, and all these things I'm talking about the theme is going to be celebrate business, because uh, I've been celebrating business for most of those 73 years, uh, doing some things as a young child. And uh, while I know I did a major marketing campaign, well, I was a marketing sales campaign because we hoped to get the vote. But my father ran for political office in the community where we were lived, and I was 7 years old, and I went door to door and passed a card out and asked folks to vote for my father. And we hit every single. That's why I started to get into zip code marketing. It was back when I was 7 years old, and well, my father really didn't do very well in the election, and my career got up to a rocky start. But we learned the importance of communication and how we need to build relationships, and that's how things get started. That's how businesses get started. Collaborations begin, and great things happen. And those are things that I've been very fortunate to be able to celebrate for uh, the last 50 plus years. Uh, I have I have done a lot of things, and I've been very blessed to be able to do the things we did and how we did them. And this is it. I decided that my final business chapter, I'll still do personal things for my legacy story, but my final business chapter is celebratebusiness.us is the web landing page. It's not really a website, it's a web landing page because that's what we do. We produce and publish web landing pages. You'll definitely hear more about that in a little while. So last weekend, as I was doing some more research of this market, I merged all the names uh, of, of companies that I found in this wonderful study. It's very current. Um, Tom gave me a copy of this just a couple weeks ago. State of the region, Cincinnati, 2022, presented by Bank of America, and of course, it was a study of this market. So the regional chamber got very involved in it, and also Center for Research and Data. At any rate, as I was reading the book, I was amazed that in not only in these 309 zip codes that I chose, um, arbitrarily chose at first. Uh, that there are seven Fortune 500 companies that uh, had 2020 or have profits of 1.1 billion all the way up to 14 billion in these zip codes where the 309 zip codes that we're talking about. Then the next listing was equally as impressive. When they talked about when they had listed the 10 largest Cincinnati based private companies, um, they uh, had revenue from $1.24 billion to $7.84 billion. 10 companies. I'm sure. I'm sure they're in all those. Now there's one in northern Kentucky, but all the rest are in the area that we're talking about. So, at any rate, I said this has to be where I start the Celebrate Business story. My objective, very simply, it's going to take a lot of time, but very simply, I want to distribute my postcard storyboard and web landing pages in all of the 41,683 zip codes. So it'll take a while to get there, but I wanted to share what it exactly is. Um, this is a postcard storyboard that I created for myself just 3 years ago. Um, 3 years ago, I created it. Uh, and I was thanking folks for 19 minutes of their time, which was a campaign that I actually did in 1978. And I thank folks for 19 minutes of their time. And over a 5 evening after work gathering, 750 people showed up. So uh, that's been a fun theme to work with. The reason that reason for 19 minutes was we had created a multi-video, we call it multimedia, we called them back then, a multimedia presentation for a new magazine that I was introducing uh, uh, into the northeastern Ohio Star County marketplace, and uh, we wanted to tell the folks about it. And lo and behold, we told them about it. At any rate, um, this is a card I put out, tested it for myself, a bit about my company. Uh, uh, the major question that we always ask is lifetime value uh, factored into the marketing sales equation. And so uh, this QR code directed them to my legacy story site. I tested the use of the postcard concept, and what I found out, well, the most negative thing I found out about scares me, really scares me. I had a tremendous amount of those postcards that weren't delivered. And not only were they not delivered, but it's not somehow, the return address found its way back to me. So they were able to read the return address, but they were not able to read who I was mailing to. It was really scary that was happening. So one thing to think about as things are done in the future, from that storyboard of mine and the web landing pages that I created. Uh, and by the way, it's not easy to show a web landing page, but in this email, if you look at the bottom of the email in the signature area, there are links to a half a dozen, I think, or more uh, web landing pages that I have created for myself for various reasons, and you'll see that. So that's what we're talking about. So uh, having learned that, the next step was to develop something where the card the card would tell a story, and uh, uh, within the card, it would drive them to a video that actually told the story. Actually told the story. So this was a mock-up that I did for a bank in zip code 45036. It's got my logo, my branding on it, but it would I did it very quickly, and didn't have the proper branding for the bank, so just went with that. Went on to as you turn the card over, there are 10 QR codes that take the user to a web landing page where at that web landing page, the story is told. That's the formula that I have built for myself, and I want to use that formula and delivered a themed card, a themed storyboard into 41,683 different zip codes. Uh, each uh, each uh, zip code would have a host sponsor, a would have a co-publisher, producer, host sponsor. That's exactly what they would have, and we would work together to create the storyboard for that market, and I would produce all the videos that needed to be produced, up to 15. 15's a fair amount, of which 11 web landing pages telling stories will be created. As I said, the nature of the stories are what my uh, co-publishers, producers, host sponsors are going to do. Uh, it will be uh, an investment of $10,000 to the publisher, producer, host, sponsor, and in return, uh, there will be 15 business videos created, and they will be placed on 11 different web landing pages. Um, might as well share a little bit more about that right now. The 11, eh, whatever URL is produced in our collaboration, you will have use of that URL for your own purposes for 125 days. In those same 125 days, I will take that URL and post it in at least 8 different places based upon the different things that will have for sure a Facebook posting, a LinkedIn posting, and other marketing and sales things that I am doing. That's where they will be posted. So for those 125 days, we'll both be using the URL that was created. Then on day 126, we will together uh, discuss what next steps are going to be. It's pretty simple. Um, I, and I will remention this marketplace is just uh, incredible, um, a place to launch my celebrate our community celebrate business celebration. So much has happened. I've lived here for the last 35 years. The last 14 years, I I actually, uh, I guess it's eight, yeah, 14 years. In 2008, I actually belonged to the Cincinnati Chamber. I was pretty active in the Cincinnati Chamber in 2008. Then, for whatever reason, I launched myself into cyberspace, where I have been for the last 14 years doing a lot of a lot of different things. And now I guess I'm hybrid now. I'll continue the online things that I've been doing, but tomorrow, tomorrow, thanks to Tom, I'm going to my second face-to-face networking event in the last maybe 3 weeks. Certainly not more than 30 days. Two faces, and I hadn't done that for 14 years, and I got to two already in the last 30 days, and uh, I actually, well, I don't know about tomorrow. Well, I know about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have fun, but definitely had fun at the first gathering. Um, that's where Tom actually gave me a copy of the study that was done. It was at that networking meeting. In my lifetime, and this also speaks to whom the invitation is going to. I uh, have dealt with banks, consumer retail, the service industry. Spent major time in the insurance marketing world. Uh, in 1994, 1995, I was actually editor of a newsletter for the Direct Marketing Association, and I had access to well, 19 of the 53 largest insurance companies were part of our community back then, and I there were life and health and property and casualty. Uh, I have paid a lot of attention to healthcare. I was actually licensed once to sell life and health, although I never did. My purpose was to get educated so that I could talk to small businesses intelligently about it. And in fact, is one of the chapters of my book, of which I would have to literally tear out now because there's a whole new set in that section, probably 250 at least questions that need to be asked. Attorneys, CPAs. Uh, One of my favorite stories was that uh, my objective was to develop a newsletter for attorneys, and it must have been at the time of HIPAA because I was doing a lot of things, marketing, sales things during the very first days of HIPAA. And so some attorneys asked me to come in and could I create an email campaign? And this is what they wanted to say. And what I had written had to be examined by six different attorneys to make sure that everything was legal or could be said. And is probably one of the most interesting emails that I've ever written. Back to the DMA for a quick moment, as I was thinking about some things. One of the things that I did for the Direct Marketing Association, I created the very first webinar that they ever had. Uh, very low level technology. Folks were given an 800 number to call into, and I created a PowerPoint screen that I could give them access to. So that's how we did our very first webinar. And not only that, the DMA went berserk because they actually charged $50 for that webinar. And that was, as I said, back in 84 or 85. Uh, and 50 insurance companies showed up. and they weren't all just insurance companies, marketers, and 50 folks showed up and paid $50, and the DMA said, "David, man, there's a whole new revenue stream for the DMA." And I said, "That's part of what, well, for sure, it's what business is about today, is additional revenue streams and collaborations that can be made. That is the collaborations guarantee that there's going to be a tomorrow. That's what they do. So we want to build as many of those as we possibly can to guarantee tomorrow. Uh, Told you I went to college here. Private companies. Okay. Why don't I? Other things happening in this in this region. Lots of regional, local, regional, and national banks in this region. Lots of them occupying lots of zip codes. So banks would be an outstanding host sponsor for uh, for this project. Um, and of course, we're well represented by professional sports teams that we know how they can excite not only this zip code but lots of zip codes. A lot of that happens, and the one thing, and I've been in Cincinnati, as I said, I think I said for 35 years. Uh, Cincinnati, not just these zip codes, but it just so happens these zip codes, many zip codes take a great deal of pride of what families started here and grew whatever. And there's more. There's got to be as much of that in the 309 zip codes that we're talking about uh, to really celebrate business. We will not run out of celebration. So essentially, um, what I want to I want to invite you to. Uh, I just changed the name of the concept this morning after a discussion I had with Tom. Uh, I was calling them Celebrate Business Final Fridays. And Tom said, "Well, David, the worst thing you could do something is a Friday night. There's football games, and yes, there are lots of football games and everything else. So it's going to be a 100-minute open house from 5:30 until 7 o'clock. An open house where we celebrate business. Folks meet one another, and then go on your merry way to do whatever on Friday evening. I'm going to do that for the final October, which is October 28th. Final Friday is October 28th. I'll do it for the final November Friday and final December Friday, which we should have a lot of fun because December is a it's a party month, isn't it? And then to uh, to get sentimental a little bit, why these 309 zip codes? Um, I always thought in my lifetime that I would retire on some ocean water somewhere. That's what I've been kind of dreaming about for years. And with all the commotion that we have seen on oceans and geography and weather, I've changed my plan. I'm not going to do that. Rather, I'm going to my final destination is going to be on the Ohio River, of all places, uh, because I want to. I want to. I'm in Norwood right now, and as soon as I can put the right studio loft project together, just move everything I have here and do it on the Ohio River. Uh, I'm hoping to get it all done by the first of the year, but we'll see how that happens. So we'll be hosting uh, three 100-minute open houses on the last Friday of October, November, December. Actually, place to be determined. Um, I It's going to be, well, it's going to be downtown, obviously, um, and I have some future discussions to see where that is going to happen. And I want to limit the first open house somewhat. So I would like folks to, well, okay, I'm not exactly, I'd wanted to limit the first event to 50 folks. Uh, the reason being that when I had no limits, 750 people showed up. And so this one is going to be closed, BCC invitations. And, but for the October event, for anybody that RSVPs for the October event, I will publish and produce complimentary a web landing page. Uh, so if you want to get involved in the community and you want to become a co-producer, publisher, host sponsor, uh, RSVP, and we'll get it going, and we'll create a complimentary web landing page for you right now. We'll do it as soon as we can. And uh, in terms of limiting to 50, which was my original concept, we an RSVP will be for two people. It will be um, either a single member, a senior executive member at your company, or your other half. I I don't know if that's, did I say that right? Your partner in life, your other half, your better half, your whatever, and I'll tell you later why that's okay. Uh, Let me know, and I will create a complimentary web landing page for you so you can see more what we are talking about. Uh, and the other the other thing that you get with your $10,000 investment, I'm not quite sure how to say this. You get 24/7 access to me with whatever in the areas of marketing, sales, and customer care. That's where I've spent all of my years. And so you can, if you become a member of our community, you will have that access. And it'd be my pleasure to uh, do whatever you need done. Um, I demand great customer care because I pride myself on the customer care that I give. I guess that's how that goes. Uh, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. Um, if you go to celebratebusiness.us at the bottom of the folder, and that's typically how we design web landing pages. Um, there's a contact form, very simple. I am the only one that reads them. Uh, you'll give your name, your email address, and whatever your concern is. You want to get involved, you've got a question, something I said, comment, whatever it means. That is the way that you can communicate with me, uh, and let me know what's on your mind. That's it. Thank you for. Oh my goodness, it's 36 minutes. If you are here right now, I did not look up at 19 minutes, or I would say, but thank you for 36 minutes of your time if you're still here. Uh, in closing, I wanted, I read this on my tea bag today, my yogi tea bag today. The essence of life is communicate love. On my tea bag, it says that. Here's something that I would like to add to that, uh, and it's maybe the motto of the Celebrate Business .us community is do what you love and love what you do. I look forward to talking with you soon.